On Winter.
Good morning. It is my great honor and privilege as the NAE Chair to welcome all of you to the 2022 National Academy of Engineering Annual Meeting and the induction of the class of 2020. I am most pleased that we are finally able to have an induction ceremony in person. I remember my own induction fondly, and I trust that you will find today's ceremony as meaningful as I did. For many of the new members, this is also your first introduction to the Academy. Election to the NAE is a high honor, and I trust that you will take great satisfaction in being so recognized by your peers. I expect that your families also take great pride in this accomplishment. But while the NAE selects its new members based on an exhaustive search and evaluation process, it is much more than just an honorific society. The National Academy of Sciences was established in 1863 by Act of Congress. Its charter directs the Academy to, and I quote, "Whenever called upon by any department or agency of the government to investigate, examine, experiment, and report upon any subject of science or art." The National Academy of Engineering was founded in 1964 under that charter. I will let John Anderson describe the operating structure of the National Academies of Science, Medicine, and Engineering, but I will note that our role as an advisor to the nation on technical matters has been a core responsibility for over 150 years. During this period, the academies have been relied upon to provide independent, objective, and nonpartisan advice with the highest standards of scientific and technical quality and integrity. To do so, the academies call upon the nation's preeminent experts in science, engineering, and medicine. In this process, the often critically needed engineering perspective has been and will continue to be a major demand function for the NAE. I expect that the need for such engineering inputs will increase significantly in the next several years. Now, the past 2 years have been difficult ones as we've learned to deal with the COVID pandemic. Not surprisingly, but not all that well known, is the significant role that engineers and engineering processes played in developing, producing, and distributing the vaccines that have contributed immeasurably to the control of the virus and its impact. While we are learning to live with COVID, we need to recognize that its long-term impact goes well beyond the world of healthcare. COVID has changed society in many ways, from where people choose to live to the nature of work itself. It is my belief that we are just starting to understand the impact that such changes will have on our national infrastructure, impacts that will need to be addressed by public policies informed by engineers. Add to that the public policy issues surrounding climate change, and it is evident that our nation will need the NAE's advice and counsel in the years to come. The need for such knowledgeable advice becomes evident when one looks at just a small part of the problem, such as the transition from a hydrocarbon-based economy to one based on renewable sources of energy. Providing uninterrupted electric power 24 hours a day, 365 days a year is massively challenging. The difficulties are evident in Europe, where the transition to solar and wind power has been complicated by varying weather conditions, early deactivation of nuclear power sources, and limits on natural gas availability from Russia. The policies behind the transition from hydrocarbon-based energy sources to renewable sources needs to be informed by engineering principles and judgments. As a systems engineer, I am dismayed by the limited perspective that appears to underlie many of these policies. Change in the form of reduced CO2 emissions is typically the desired outcome, but change at what cost? And cost is not measured simply by financial mechanisms, but can run the gamut from increased susceptibility to weather events to supply chain constraints for rare earth minerals. Only by identifying and addressing the full range of collateral impacts can the full cost and likely timing be understood. The transition of electric power must be engineered to be successful. It must consider the potential for reduced CO2 emissions, the cost and timing of such reductions, and all of the collateral implications. It will also need to consider a full range of alternative mechanisms for producing and distributing electric power, including evolving nuclear technologies. I am pleased to say that your NAE is embarking on the challenge. As but one example, I will note the study initiated and co-organized by the NAE that is examining the potential for commercialization of new and advanced nuclear reactor technologies. This is a broad-based examination of the problem, examining safety, nuclear waste, and workforce issues, as well as multiple technology options and implementation paths. Although it is but one facet of the challenge to transition away from a hydrocarbon-based electric power grid, it has the potential to materially impact national policy debates on the future direction of electric power generation. Now, I'd be remiss if I did not note that this study was enabled by a most generous gift from NAE member James Trouchard. This independent funding greatly aids our ability to independently and flexibly explore multiple alternative paths of development. All too often, studies requested by the federal government come far later in the policy development cycle and can be focused on specific alternatives. We need more contributions to help the Academy provide the engineering leadership and advice that is sorely needed. And we need more members to participate in the related National Research Council committees, boards, and NAE programs. For those of you who have served, I would like to thank you and ask that you continue to do so, perhaps at even greater levels of involvement. For those of you who have not yet done so, I will encourage you to participate. I believe that you will find this form of service to be both intellectually challenging and most satisfying. Now it is my pleasure to introduce John Anderson, the distinguished president of the NAE, to deliver his address. John?
Thank you, Don. Welcome to the 2022 National Academy of Engineering Annual Meeting and Induction Ceremony. It is refreshing to see so many of you in person, and I would also like to welcome family and friends joining us today. Before we start, I would like to express our sympathy and support for the residents who were in the path of Hurricane Ian, especially in Puerto Rico and in Florida. This storm reminds us that there remain many challenges for engineering to secure the health and safety of our population. We will use our ingenuity to rebuild areas to be more robust, resilient, to secure the health and safety of our society. This is the moment we've all been anticipating, your moment to be formally inducted into the National Academy of Engineering. Inducting 3 classes in one day is a tall order. You have the advantage of being first. Although you had to get up a little earlier, but it's still an advantage. More than 300 members will be inducted throughout the day, representing 3 classes. It's a first step in moving on from the pandemic, and it's an exciting step. It has been 3 years since we held an induction ceremony in person. I would like to recognize the hard work, patience, and resilience of NAE members, staff, volunteers, and partners. We managed by working and collaborating electronically, seeing faces through computers in 2D, using the technology at our fingertips made our work possible, but it is the people, our current NAE members, who ensured the important work of the NAE continued uninterrupted. NAE is one of 3 pillars of the National Academies, the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. Serve the nation by providing independent, objective advice to inform policy, sparking progress and innovation to solve complex problems, and confronting challenging issues to benefit society. The academies encourage education, research, recognize outstanding contributions that benefit society, and increase public understanding of engineering, science, and medicine. Increasingly, the need to cultivate science and advanced technology was amplified in the response to the wartime needs of our country. It is against the backdrop of the Civil War that the National Academy of Sciences was first chartered in 1863 by President Abraham Lincoln. If you go to our boardroom, you will see a photo, you'll see the mural of this it's depicted here. At its inception, NAS was composed of scientists, engineers, technologists, and medical professionals. In the shadow of World War II, President Woodrow Wilson approved the formation of the National Research Council to advance science, aid American industries, and promote national security and welfare. Membership was drawn from the government, various branches of the military, universities, businesses, and private research laboratories. As technology advanced, the practices of engineering became more prevalent, and the need for engineering to have its explicit role in advising the nation became more pronounced. In 1964, the NAE was established under the original NAS charter. It was touted as a major landmark in the history of relationships between science and engineering in our country. The third pillar of the academies was formalized in 1970 by the addition of the National Academy of Medicine, originally named the Institute of Medicine. The National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, which we call NASEM, is the trusted voice for evidence-based studies, reports, and discussions that address science, engineering, technology, medicine, and policy issues of the day. The depth of knowledge and diverse perspectives that you, our members, bring to the table makes reports and studies from the National Academies the gold standard of advice. There is unity in our autonomy, there is autonomy in our unity, and unity in our autonomy. But we serve one mission: to provide unbiased, evidence-based recommendations in service to the nation. Many of you took part in the Big Picture Expo yesterday, the first time we've done that, and became familiar with NAE programs and NASEM divisions. It was a great turnout. I hope you learned how to engage in the work of the academies in ways that are meaningful to you. Service is an important aspect of NAE membership. In 2021, 46% of our members participated in activities of the National Academies generally, and specifically NAE, by serving on committees, lending their expertise to reports, and by taking an active role in our member elections. Your expertise and participation is needed as we continue to fulfill our mission. So the message here is your induction into NAE is like a university commencement. It is the beginning of an important service to the nation and to the engineering profession. It is obvious that our climate is changing, and in dramatic ways. We must be responsive to those changes through programs and activities, and we must respond strategically with the urgency required, as Chairman Winter noted. Accelerating decarbonization of the U.S. energy system is one of the National Academy's most cited reports. Released in 2021, it has been downloaded more than 18,000 times. Its committee members have testified to Congress, and it has influenced policy on addressing climate change. Because of the urgency of this topic, the focus of our Monday sessions is engineers leading the energy transition. We can look forward to insightful talks, both about the challenges and the opportunities that await in the engineering community. Pictured here is the founding members of the first annual meeting of the NEE, taken in 1965, a year after the NEE was established. 15 of the original 25 members are pictured. 52% of that class was from the business sector, 36% from universities, and 12% from national laboratories. These men were giants in their field. They also dressed alike. Among them was James Landis, a power engineer who was in charge of what was at the time the world's largest generating plant, and William Everett, an electrical engineer who pioneered advances in radio engineering and communication. I'd also like to point out that a hallmark of the NAE is the significant representation of members from industry who bring expertise and perspectives about combining scale and costs not found in academia or government. Of the three academies, the NAE is the only one with a significant membership from industry or business. This is what makes NAE unique within the academies. Again, autonomy in our unity. Let's forward to the present. Here are photos of some of the members of the class of 2020. Quite a difference from the composition of individuals in the first class, 1964. Our membership representation reflects our values. We aim to increase representation from industry and among women and underrepresented minorities. A more diverse and inclusive academy means that more constructive and creative ideas are brought to bear on our work. We are committed to convening knowledge to provide engineering leadership on issues that all countries face. These issues include clean energy, access to potable water, food security, protecting health and well-being during times of national crisis, such as pandemics and natural disasters like the one we just faced. The need for collaboration with members across the world has a new urgency. This year, we increased the number of members from underrepresented countries such as Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and Turkey. Welcome to the 18 international members elected from 14 countries. We look forward to working with you on global issues that impact us all. Today, with about 2,300 U.S. members and 300 international members, the NEE embraces another chapter of reaching new frontiers of creativity and innovation to address pressing challenges. NAE elects more than half of our members from the business sector, I've noticed. We are the source of expertise from industry for the national academies. I also want to call your attention to the fact that a significant part of the class is naturalized citizens. Immigration is an obvious asset of the United States. Finally, we have broadened the representation of members with respect to women and individuals from underrepresented groups. In 2021, we revisited our strengths and with input from members and staff, devised a new strategy to provide insights and leadership with a focus on people, systems, and culture. Our commitment to the nation, our profession, and our members is prioritized in the 4 I's. Identify and inform the frontiers of engineering theory, practice, and policy. Increase engineering talent through a strong commitment to diversity and inclusion. Instill a culture of ethical and environmental responsibility in engineering. And finally, improve capabilities and competencies for complex systems engineering. In May, the NEE Council approved the strategy's implementation plan that will help maintain our progress in reaching these goals. It is important to point out that the national academies are not part of the government, and this is by design. This ensures the essential work we do remains objective and credible. One result of our independence is our dependence on philanthropy, as Don Winter said. About 60% of our NEE's operating budget derives from past and current donations by our members, by foundations, corporations, and other partners. Your leadership, now more than ever, is critical to the success of efforts to advance the NEE to an even higher level. Engineers are at the heart of solving global-scale challenges that affect all people. These challenges create opportunities to learn, improve, and expand the engineering field, provided we are prepared to answer the call. So we can, we will, and we are engineers. Wow. After seeing that, who wouldn't want to be an engineer? Can you imagine it? And I want to commend you. I'm sure that some of you want to get up and dance to that. That rhythm was just right, but thank you for your restraint. The Campaign for Leadership in a World of Accelerating Change seeks to support effective, action-oriented activities that enable and empower the NAE to be the trusted source of engineering advice for creating a healthier, more secure, and more sustainable world. Recently, I saw an engineer wearing a T-shirt with the statement, "I am an engineer. That means I get excited about things other people don't know about." Keep in mind that the word engineer derives from the Latin word ingenuity. It doesn't come from engine, it comes from the Latin word for ingenuity. And the spirit of ingenuity is at the core of every engineer, a spirit of leadership to create what does not yet exist. It instills a need to tackle challenges, to find solutions, to create new things. This is what makes our practice and profession unique. I hope the video inspires you as much as it inspires me. I would like to thank the NAE staff who make our organization work so well. It is a wonderful group of individuals, and they make good things happen. We owe them a lot, and putting on this 3-class induction and whatever is just testimony to the quality of their work and the commitment they have and the effort they put in. So thank you very much to the staff. I also thank the remarkable officers and counselors who govern the NAE. The council is the governing body of the National Academy of Engineering, and they serve the organization with integrity and dedication. Recognizing the work of so many reminds me of a quote by Helen Keller, "Alone we can do so little, together we can do so much." I look forward to doing wonderful work with each one of you. Now, the moment you have been waiting for, induction of the class of 2020. To lead us, I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Al Romig, NEE member and NEE executive officer, and a proud member of Section 1 Aerospace. Al has also been known, goes by the title Chief Skunk, because of his leading role with Lockheed Martin's advanced development programs at a place called the Skunk Works in California. Al, please introduce the individual members of the class of 2020.
Good morning, everyone. As John said, my name is Al Romig, and I am the current NAE Executive Officer. I began this role in 2015 after a career in aerospace and defense, culminating at Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. We are extremely proud of our new members, and we're also proud of our long-serving members. At the back of the induction book, you will find the names of individuals who are celebrating a significant membership anniversary. Allow me to present this list class by class. At the end, I will ask all members celebrating an anniversary to stand so they can be properly acknowledged by you. If you're watching from home, feel free to have the person in the room with you stand and applaud as well. I'd like to have the audience hold their applause until the members of all classes are standing, and then we congratulate them all at once. The following individuals are celebrating a significant membership anniversary. The class of 1970, celebrating 50 years, Arthur E. Bryson, J. Ross McDonald, William J. Perry. The class of 1975, celebrating 45 years. Here you can see the individuals' photographs and names in the book. The class of 1980, celebrating 40 years. You notice the classes are getting larger. Class of 1985, celebrating 35 years. And the class of 1990, celebrating 30 years. And finally, the class of 1995, celebrating 25 years. If you run into any of these individuals over the course of the next few days, please remember to add 2 to those numbers. We'd like to thank and congratulate all of our anniversary members for their years of service. As I said, their names are available in the directory, also in the online directory. Any of those of you left standing, please sit down. As John and Don both said, this is really a terrific occasion. After almost 3 years of not being together, we are finally in this great auditorium of our nation's capital and in 3 dimensions. Today, we celebrate the marvelous contributions that the engineers in this year's class have made in research, innovation, manufacturing, education, the creation of novel technologies, and in designing solutions to real-world problems. I think you know how competitive this process is. Several of those of you in this class have already been involved in some aspect or another of the election process. Several years ago, prior to assuming this position, I was the chair of the committee of membership, as was John, a couple years behind me, and so we both know just how talented these classes are. I will say as the executive officer, I've had the opportunity to review this year's class and every year's class, and I will tell you that you are as distinguished as ever. John cited our history going back to the National Academy of Sciences in 1863 as an organization that is meant to use the talents of the nation's preeminent scientists, engineers, and physicians to solve national problems. In the light of the global challenges we currently face, from pandemics to energy transitions to climate change, now more than ever, it is important for the National Academy of Engineering continues to engage in this endeavor. Now to the induction of our new members and international members. For all of those of you who are joining us today, we make great efforts to introduce people by properly pronouncing your names. And I will tell you, with the help of my assistant, Jatrice Jackson, who really did all the work, and between listening to you on the phone, talking to an assistant, hearing your voicemail, I think we've got most of them down. Sometimes we even have to go to Mr. Google. There's only one of you this year who will be introduced by your phone number. And despite my American accent, I will do my best to say the names properly. Recognize I've got 300 of them to do today. So expect that I may make a few mistakes, so cut me a little bit slack, because I'll be, as I said, be reading over 300 new names. What I will do is read the name and the election citation, first for the new members and then for the international members. Your affiliation and titles will appear on the screen. So if I could have John, Don, and Jatrice assume their positions, we'll get ready for the ceremonies. Now let's join us and celebrate the NAE class of 2021 as they take their position. Okay, let's rock and roll. Lilia Ann Abron, for leadership in providing technology-driven sustainable housing and environmental engineering solutions in the United States and South Africa. Everybody just does what Leah does, and you'll do this right. Eleanor J. Allen, for leadership and advocacy in making clean water and sanitation systems accessible to people around the world. David J. Allstott, for research and commercialization of mixed-mode integrated circuits and systems. Robert O. Ambrose, for advances in dexterous space robotics and leadership in human robotic teaming in space operations. Saeed D. Barbat, for leadership in automotive safety and contributions to the science of crashworthiness, occupant protection, and biomechanics. Peter J. Basser, for development of diffusion tensor MRI and streamlined tractography, transforming the characterization of brain disorders and visualization of nerve fiber pathways. Barbara A. Beacons, for contributions to characterizing subsurface microbial populations related to contaminant degradation. Stacy F. Bent, for contributions to material surface chemistry and its application across technology platforms from energy to electronics. Thomas A. Burson, for contributions to cybersecurity in the commercial and intelligence communities. Stephen Biller, for leadership and advancement of manufacturing technologies and innovations based on the Internet of Things and digital data. Charles F. Bolden, Jr., we call him Charlie, for leadership and development of U.S. human spaceflight and space operations programs, and for revitalizing fundamental aeronautics research. Allison K. Brown, for contributions to research and development of precision navigation and timing technologies. Reginald DesRoches, for research and design of resilient infrastructure systems to mitigate damage from natural disasters and other extreme conditions. Horatio D. Espinoza, for contributions bridging nanoscale experimentation and atomistic simulations. John C.C. Fan, for innovation and entrepreneurship in electronic materials and devices for displays. Carl N. Fleming, for contributions to probabilistic risk assessment methods and their application to enhance the safety of nuclear power facilities. Paul L. Friedman, for development and application of science-based computer models for water body and watershed assessment, remediation, and management. Rajiv Gautam, for business and technical leadership in the oil, gas, and petrochemicals industry. Eric Gebhardt, for development and utilization of advanced electric generation technologies, including gas and wind turbines. Thomas R. Gelorenze, for innovation and entrepreneurship in civilian and military communication networks and systems. Robert B. Gilbert, for advancing the use of reliability analyses, risk assessment, and risk-based design making for complex engineering problems. Kenneth C. Hall, for development of unsteady aerodynamic and aeromechanics theories and analysis for internal and external aerodynamic flows. Latanya M. Harris, for leadership in biomanufacturing of a breakthrough immunotherapy biotherapeutic and for outreach activities in STEM education. Susan J. Helms, for accomplishments in civil and military space programs. Susan V. Herring, for advances and commercialization in aerosol measurements and instrumentation. Okay, I guess we're missing one. Kyoki Jackson. Here we go. For developing human and technological aerospace capabilities for national security and for promoting global technology cooperation. Mirjan Yankovic, for contributions to nonlinear control theory and automotive technology. Sally A. Keller, for development and application of engineering and statistical techniques in support of national security and industry. Ron Klemensick, for innovation in the design of high-rise buildings worldwide and for research and design guidelines to advance structural engineering practices. Julia A. Cornfield, for developing mega supermolecules for anti-misting fuel additives and light-adjustable intraocular lenses to improve cataract surgery outcomes. Paul E. Krajewski, for development and implementation of lightweight automotive materials. Stephen L. Kramer, for contributions to geotechnical earthquake engineering, including liquefaction, seismic stability, and seismic site response. James F. Curaza, for contributions to the design and analysis of network protocols for multimedia communications. Sarah Kurtz, for contributions to the development of gallium indium phosphide and gallium arsenide photovoltaic cells and leadership in solar cell reliability and quality. Mark G. Lobby, for the development and application of techniques for electric grid reliability analysis. Chen-Ching Liu, for contributions to computational methods for power system restoration and cybersecurity. Susan S. Margulies, for elaborating the traumatic injury thresholds of brain and lung in terms of structure function mechanisms. Thomas L. Marzetta, for contributions to massive multiple input, multiple output antenna arrays in wireless communications. Paul F. McKenzie, for delivering breakthrough medicines, modernizing process development and manufacturing, and integrating modern engineering concepts in pharmaceutical industries. Muriel Medard, for contributions to the theory and practice of network coding. Lahio H. Mahisha, for the evaluation, design, and construction of embankment dams and foundation systems and contributions to geotechnical earthquake engineering. Russell D. Miller, for contributions to large-scale distribution center design and operation. James Adichie Momo, for the development of electric grid optimization techniques and implementation of advanced technology and policy for emerging electric grids in Africa. Paulo J. Montero, for contributions to the science and nanotechnology of concrete for sustainable construction and durable structures. Jayathi Y. Murthy, for the development of unstructured solution-adaptive finite volume methods for heat, mass, and momentum transport. Jorge Nosedal, for contributions to the theory, design, and implementation of optimization algorithms and machine learning software. Per F. Peterson, for experimental and analytical research contributions for the design and development of passive safety systems for advanced nuclear reactors. Frank F. Roberto, for advancing biotechnical applications for environmentally responsible mine production. Ann K. Roby, for developments in oxidation processes and leadership in technological developments, safety, and business growth in global industrial gas companies. Reza Rofagarum, for the development of radio system on a chip technology for wireless networking. What? Skipped? I missed that one. Mark E. Russell, for leadership in developing radar systems for enhanced national security and safety. Amarpreet S. Sahani, for development of innovative medical devices that have impacted millions of patients. Nancy R. Santos, for contributions to the design and applications of self-healing and multifunctional materials. Michael A. Sutton, for creation of digital image correlation-based measurement technology and its dissemination through commercialization and applications in industry. Maria C. Tamargo, for forging the way toward an inclusive science and engineering research community, and for contributions to molecular beam epitaxy of semiconductor materials. Russell H. Taylor. Maybe Russell's missing. All right. Mark E. Thompson, for development of highly efficient electrophorescent materials for organic light-emitting devices used in displays and lighting worldwide. Leung Sang, for contributions in wave scattering and microwave remote sensing theories for satellite missions. Richard A. Villa, for aerospace applications of polymeric nanomaterials and for technical leadership in materials for national defense applications. Kenneth E. Washington, for leadership in nuclear safety, information systems, and high-performance computing, space research, and automotive technologies. Dick K. Yu, for contributions to ocean engineering and innovation of open courseware to make higher education freely available worldwide. G. John, for advances in earthquake seismology, geophysical imaging, and medical technology. And now to the induction of the class of 2020 international members, while we swap out our international secretary for our home secretary. Don't go to sleep. Okay. Edward Arts, for research on mechanical properties and development of bio-inspired functional surfaces for medical adhesives and novel gripping systems. Gotta wait till the picture matches the face over there to make sure I do this right. Igor Emery, for contributions to the testing and modeling of time-dependent materials and to novel sound and vibration isolation materials. Wolfgang Margot, for contributions to process systems engineering and large-scale computations, and for the national leadership in science, technology, policy, and management. Viola Vogel, for elucidation of how proteins work as nanoscale mechanochemical switches and applications to bioengineering and medicine. Rabab K. Ward, for innovative applications of signal processing to industrial and bioengineering problems. Congratulations to the NAE class of 2020. So a touch of instructions first. We would like the class that was just inducted to be the first ones to leave because we're going to try to get a class picture. If it's not raining, we'll go outside and front steps. If it is raining, we've got a plan B and a plan C for inside of the building. So if we could have the class of 2020 and anyone who was here for their anniversary, if you could go outside.